have a lot of friends and students ask me, what is it like doing a PhD? So I thought I'd document it here in case it helps you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Heya. I did my PhD in nutrition science at King's College London a few years ago. So here is a video where I talk about 8 things to know before you take on a PhD. Let's get straight into it. I'd say the first thing to know is how different it is to a master's or an undergrad degree. I knew how different it was, but I didn't fully 100% appreciate that until I was in my program. So I think it's worth knowing before getting into it. On the one hand, an undergraduate degree is really structured. You have specific classes to take, specific places to be. Your schedule is determined by your classes. You then have specific assignments that you do, they get graded, you get feedback. All of the information that you need is given to you, and you sit the exams and you pass and you're done. On the other hand, a PhD is largely unstructured, especially in its day-to-day. Of course, it's structured in that there's certain research projects you're gonna do, you're gonna submit a thesis, but really beyond that, it's up to you to set personal deadlines and make sure that you are working toward being able to write up your thesis and defend that body of work. It's a really autonomous project where you have to find all the information that you need, you're pushing the boundaries of knowledge, you're writing up papers and discoveries. It is so different from an undergraduate degree. You have really limited classroom time, if any at all. You don't have classmates that are going through the same exams as you and experiences as you. You may have lab mates or other people in your office who are also doing a PhD, or you may be on a multidisciplinary team, but your project is largely independent and it's yours. Another way to view or describe a PhD is it's almost like you're somewhere between a student and a staff member. Before taking on a PhD, I would say it's so important that you have real interest in the research topic. Here, your curiosity and your excitement for the topic itself is so important to help guide you and to keep you going. You really need to be interested in this area because you're going to spend years in it and you'll be diving very deep into the literature. You'll know it so well. So it needs to be something that motivates you and excites you and that you're really interested in learning more about. Because what you're doing, essentially, you're becoming almost a specialist in that area. I would say then just as important as the topic, and this is so overlooked, is the methodology that you're going to be using, because this is what will determine your day-to-day and it will determine what skills you're going to get from this PhD program. I would also argue that the methodology might be even a little bit more important than the topic itself, because you're learning research skills. You can always apply them to different topics that interest you down the line. Here, it's so key that you want to develop the skills that you're going to be employing. Let me give you an example. Some PhDs are lab-based. They're cell culture work. Others might be, for example, human clinical trials. Some others might be, for example, more epidemiological research. So all of these different types of research, and you may use a couple of different methods, will determine what skills you get. So when you're looking at PhD programs that might be suitable for you, yes, definitely look at the topic and also look at the methods that are going to be used. A PhD that uses epidemiological research is going to be very different to one that uses, for example, cell cultures. Think about the skills you want to develop, the areas of research that you want to be able to work in, and try and make sure that the project that you select includes the research methods that you want to be trained in. What's also so important, and probably equally important, is the supervisor. Your supervisor relationship is instrumental in your PhD. Your supervisor is there to guide you and support you throughout the entire program. And that relationship with them is a huge determinant in how happy you are throughout your PhD and also your success of completing the program and completing on time. So it really needs to feel like it's someone that you can work with and someone that you actually can gel with and that you're comfortable with. Try and speak with them and ask them about the program and ask them about their research and really assess if this is someone that you feel like you could see yourself working with. If you have the opportunity to visit their lab, you can speak to their PhD students and you can feel the vibe. What is it like? Do the students seem happy? Does it seem like a nice atmosphere? You can gauge these things and see if this is a sort of environment that you would benefit from being in and would feel comfortable learning in. I was personally extremely fortunate with my supervisor. She's the most wonderful human being. And I've heard some stories at other universities where people have had a really hard time. So don't underestimate this factor. It is so important to your success in your PhD and also your well-being and your happiness. The other thing to know is it is very independent work. If you're a very independent person who's happy spending loads of time on your own, then it is great. It is ideal. Not only is it independent in spending a lot of time on your own, but also it's very independent in learning. So you have to learn everything pretty much on your own. Of course, your supervisor is there to guide you and they'll point you in the right directions and send you some relevant papers, but you have to identify pretty much what you need to learn and what you need to know and create kind of your own learning program for yourself. It's very self-guided. But I think just in general, knowing how much alone time you'll have is an important thing. And some people thrive in this environment. And because it's so independent, you also manage your own time. You set your own schedule. Some supervisors want their students in at certain times. Others are very, very flexible like mine. You set your own schedule. You are able to create a routine that works best for you and is around the hours that you are most productive. So we can all agree that a PhD is going to be a lot of reading, that's no surprise, but it is also a lot of writing. And it's not only writing a thesis at the end, you're writing pretty much throughout. You're writing abstracts, you're writing papers, and you're documenting your research methods. I did know that there was going to be paper writing and there was going to be a thesis that you write up at the end, but I didn't realize how consistently pretty much you're writing throughout. You'll get a lot of time to practice your academic writing skills, and if you love writing, then it's great and it's ideal. You also will do quite a lot of communication and presentations. You'll get a lot of opportunities to communicate your research both internally in your department and also externally at conferences. So here, this is also a great opportunity to practice public speaking. Also, if you get involved in teaching in your department and demonstrating labs, this is also another opportunity to practice more public speaking. But in general, there is quite a lot of presentation and public speaking. And if you're uncomfortable with that, then there are seminars and workshops through your university that help train you to get more comfortable. I'd say lastly, it's so important to have something outside your PhD while you're doing it. Something that's for yourself, whether it's a hobby, an interest, a certain group that you're a part of, something that is just for you and outside of academia. Your PhD will become a huge part of you, of your work life, and it can start taking over every living moment. But it's so important to just have something that's completely separate, that's just for you, whether that's learning a language, whether that's joining some kind of fitness club or program. Some people started running marathons, for example. Others got interested in their culinary skills, anything that you feel like you're able to do and share outside with others that's not just fully 100% your academic career. I think this is also great for giving you perspective outside of just your research bubble. I do get asked, is a PhD hard? I'd say it's not hard. It's not difficult. It's just a lot of persistence, independence, self-motivation, discipline, and when you work at it every single day and you like the topic and you like writing and reading and you have a great relationship with your supervisor, it's actually very, very enjoyable. And it gives you so many skills as a researcher or an academic, of course, but also outside of that, there are lots of transferable skills that you could use whatever it is you decide to do next. If you made it this far, I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you want more content that's PhD related, you could check out this playlist. I hope that it's helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.